Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Ponchandra. I'm from English Group 3. Today, I would like to tell you what I have learned about methodology and teaching practice. The first of the important content that I have learned is giving the instructions. I have known some answer of the questions in the lessons of instructions, such as why it is important to focus on our teacher talk, what is good teacher talk, what does clear instruction mean, why it is important for a teacher to give clear instructions, what are the qualities of good instructions. I remember that there are 6 steps in giving instructions. First, begin with gets learner attention. The second, explain the activities. After that, explain step of the activities. And next is emphasize any important requirement. Then check comprehensions. And finally, start students on the activities. And the second of the important content that I have learned is relevant to the way to write the introduce new target item PPP and the introduce new target item PPP from a text lesson plan. A lesson plan is divided into 2 sheets. The first sheet is lesson plan's cover sheet, and the second one is lesson plan's procedure sheet. Now let's talk about the first sheet. I have learned how to write the 7 main points, such as main aim, subsidiary aim, potential problem, solutions to potential problems, teaching aid, material, equipment, personal objectives, and homework. For the second sheet, I'm talking about a table in the lesson plan procedure sheet. There are 6 columns in the table, such as state column, material column, time column, interaction column, procedure column, and purposes columns. In a lesson plan, we can include many different roles of stage, such as greeting, lead-in, warmer or warm-up, pre-teach vocabulary, set the scene, reading for main idea, reading for detail, presentations of new target item, control practice, less control practice, free practice or productions, oral fluency practice, feedback, color or filler, and homework. If we talk about pre-teach vocabulary, there are 8 techniques of eliciting new vocabulary, such as picture or visual, meme, realer, situations or explanations, example, synonym, opposite or antonym, and the last one, translations. The maximum of eliciting new vocabulary is 6 words, and the teacher should use less than 5 minutes for elicit new vocabularies. The important point in a lesson plan that I have learned is PPP. First P is the abbreviations of presentations of new target item. There are some main points in presentation stage. For instance, set the scene, introduce new language, comprehension check, highlight the target items, and substitution table, concept check, and concept questions. Normally, concept check is described about form, meaning, usage, a timeline of new target item. For concept checking questions, there are 5 ways to check whether students can use the target language or not. They are yes/no questions, alternatives, summing up, timeline, and negative checking. Now move to the second P is practice. There are 2 key points in practice, such as control practice and less control practice. Control practice contains 6 drills such as picture drill, true-false repetition drill, multiple substitution drill, transformation drill, the chain drill, and expansions. For less control practice contains 7 techniques such as find someone who, interview, questionnaire, chain game, picture difference, guessing game, and information game. And for the last P is free practice or productions. There are 8 techniques in it, such as brainstorming, tell us me about, describe a person, place, picture, role play, simulations, questionnaires, talking about yourself, and exchanging letters. Okay, I would like to tell you the third of the important contents that I have learned is game study. I have learned many interesting game studies from every unit of your teaching. For me, they are very funny, and it is a good way to get students' attention and to change the classroom's atmosphere. It is a good way to give chance to the student to try eliciting a logical answer. And I really like the way you encourage or admire the students when the answers are correct. I have remembered all of your game study. I have organized them as my own document for teach my students in the near future. Okay, now I'll show you my game study slide presentations. The first one is find the name of a color hidden in each sentence. This slide there are 2 games. The first is why do you buy clothes? Eliciting and read the abbreviations. The next is that clock right? 15 minus 6 equal 10. Okay, the answer. How do you write 4 between 5? Which are the next 2 numbers in the sequence? Reverse me. Yeah, it is an interesting game. Yes, the train pie, it is a funny game study. Yeah, this one is silly questions. Everyone try finding the correct answer to be a silly person. Is my small son there? And this one is tongue twister. I have searched and found around 50 of the most popular English tongue twister. Okay, look at this file. I'll show you. Yep, look at this. I have from number 1 to 50. I have searched from the internet. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. And the following is talking about words queries. Okay, now I would like to show you my own slide presentations, which talking about the other things that I have learned from your course. Sometimes I fill in my spare time with revising your lessons, and doing few slides presentations about what I have learned in order to transfer them as some documents because they will become the important things one day. Look at the first slide. These are the certain components of characteristic of a good teacher. Next is the PPP map. This one is talking about control practice, which contains with set technique drills and peer working. I remember that control practice is an activities that have no time for students to share the idea. It focuses on accuracies and the teacher can correct their students' fault immediately. This one is talking about technique of less control and free practice. I recall that role play can be less control and can be free practice. The difference is role play in less control practice give more clue. However, role play in free practice no more clue given. This slide is talking about analyzing meaning. This one is talking about things should be included in a lesson plan. Move to the slide 16. It's talking about the difference of active and passive vocabulary. This slide, it is a diagram of the components of things that students need to know about a new word so they can use it well. This one is a sample of learner's word list table. And this slide relates to the 7 steps of eliciting new vocabularies. Okay, now it's time to tell you about what I have learned from my peer. I would like to introduce my peer first. His name is Kum Suparint. Things that I have learned from him, such as the classroom language, his technique of learning and teaching English, his classroom problem and the solutions, the way to plan a lesson for teaching in the secondary school, and many interesting game study and so on. I would like to tell you that I am an alumnus, so everything that I have learned from you is new for me, and I never seen that before. And I believe that all the knowledge that I gain from you will help my teaching process to be smoothly as a high school English teacher. Actually, before I had your course, I had been worried because I did not know how to transfer the knowledge to high school students. Even though I used to teach the students of private school, but I still have no confidence of teaching because it is a new situation for me, so that I really need the technique of teaching from you as much as possible. I realized that after I had your course, I've got more confidence of teaching. You always get my classmate and I to demonstrate teaching from time to time again and again. So now I'm nearly get used to with teaching demonstrate. Recently, I have helped some of my classmates, those who need my aid, to check and give some advice or feedback for their lesson plan. I have known that some of them still doesn't clear some parts of the lesson plan, so that they need someone who can correct and explain their lesson plan. However, they did not ask you in direct, so they decide asking me instead. I have realized that I am not a clever student of the class, but I was so happy to help my classmate. I have tried helping them as much as possible because whenever I help them, I gained more knowledge and I also can get something new from them. On the other hand, it is a good time to revise old lessons and I also can correct what I have confused in the old lesson. But I couldn't check or correct all parts of the lesson plan because I was so busy with your assignment and the assignment of other teacher. However, nowadays I observe that they are improving. Eventually, I would like to appreciate to your teaching effort. To be honest, I love the way you are and I really like your teaching style. Please keep your effort and thank you.